Hey everyone, I'm Renita Young with Quick Take. And budgeting in this pandemic has been very difficult for long term and short term purposes. But today we have Anthony ONeal on the first episode of Your Money Story. He's a millennial personal finance influencer, best selling author, and Ramsey personality. And his story of overcoming homelessness and debt hopefully will help you own your money story. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh man, Renita, thank you so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks now, so I can't wait to talk more with you and serve the people who are watching this today.
Great, great. Well, let's get right into it. I heard something pretty interesting that you said recently. The caliber of my future will be determined by the caliber of my choices. But
Yes.
sometimes life also gets in the way and it builds up on us. And like this current pandemic, things happen. We get into a bind, like what happened to you at 19 years old when you ended up homeless.
Mhm.
Can you walk us through how you dug out of that situation?
But the key thing for me when I dug out of my particular homeless situation, I was 19 years old, $35,000 in debt, sleeping in the back of my car, didn't really have a place to go. And one of the main things that helped me get out of that situation really wasn't the practical at first. It was my mindset. I had to really come up with a clear vision with where I wanted to go and how I wanted to get out of debt. And so I really changed my money mindset. I got on a clear vision for my life. And then I also got on a clear budget that matched the goals that I was trying to accomplish. So I went and got 3 jobs. I was working a full-time 8 to 5. And then I also got a part-time job washing cars after that. And then check this out, Renita. I was delivering newspapers from around 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning to get some more money. Why? Because I was tired of living this fake rich life. And I really wanted to start building true wealth by eliminating my debt, getting a clear vision, being intentional about my decisions so I can have a brighter future.
Wow. So 3 jobs, pretty much a full-time job and 2 side hustles, which would
Yes.
take up even more hours. But then you talked about budgeting. How exactly do you budget now? Is it an envelope system that you use, or do you use different checking accounts? How do you budget now?
Well, here at Ramsey Solutions, we talk about the envelope systems, and I'm all for the envelope system. Now, I am a millennial, so I do the digital envelope system through this amazing app that I use called Every Dollar. And so I pretty much list all of my income, I list all of my expenses, and at the bottom of that, it should equal zero. So I call this a zero-based budget through every dollar. So for an example, let's say you make $2,000 a month. That's your income. And let's just say, for an example, you have a rent payment, mortgage payment, car insurance, utility bills. These are all expenses. Renita, your hair looks amazing today. So I'm pretty sure you have a hair expense. And so that's an expense, and so you want to list all of your expenses and you want to give every dollar an assignment. I call that you want to put your vision on paper before the month begins. And when you get to the bottom of that, it should equal zero. Now, let's say, for an example, your income is 2,000, but at the end of your budget, you're over by 100. So you need to go back to your budget and make sure that it is zero at the bottom of it.
Okay, got it, got it. And just like we just touched on, we're in the middle of a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic to be specific.
Mhm.
It's upending lives, it's causing an economic slowdown. But walk us through the steps. Some people have lost jobs during this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk us through the steps to take if you've lost a job, you still have bills and debt.
Yeah, Renita, I want to say this before we go into that. I want to say focus on the things you can control and don't stress over the things that you can't. All right. And here are some of the things that you can control, and that's your income that you have right now. So when it comes to your budget, here's the first 4 things I want you to worry about if you've lost some particular amount of income. I want you to focus on your food because we got to keep our bodies and ourselves healthy. Then after that, I want you to focus on your utilities. Make sure you have hot water coming into the house. Make sure that you have water coming into the house. Make sure you have heating. Then after that, focus on your transportation. Okay. Make sure you have gas for your car. And then after that, focus on your mortgage or your rent payment. So if you lost anything, I don't want you to worry about nothing else. Don't worry about any collection items. I want you to make all of your minimum payments as much as possible. But if you can't make the minimum payments right now, that's okay. I want you to survive with those 4 things, which I call your 4 walls. It protects you. All right. So again, that's your food. That's going to be your utilities. That's going to be your transportation, and that's going to be your housing. So once you cover those four things, and let's say you have a little bit left over, I just want you to stack that money. Don't worry about paying anything else. Just start stacking that money so you can have some extra margin to get you through this season. But then also when it comes to budgeting, here's one thing I really want you to look at. It's the very first top. That's your income. All right. So right now, if you have lost a job, what I want you to do is go out there and try and figure out how can you bring in some extra cash. For an example, you can do online learning. There are a lot of students right now who are working from home, doing school from home, and parents are sitting at home stressed. They don't know how to do math. They don't know how to do English. And so right now, what you can do is just figure out how you can bring in some extra income from online learning, maybe grocery shopping, maybe even some food delivery services. But that's how you really control a pandemic budget.
Got it. Got it. And on the flip side, a lot of people have been working from home and they have been stacking a little extra cash.
Yeah.
How do you suggest they make the best of that money?
You know, I go back to the baby steps. So if you still do have some income coming in, great. All right. And if you still have debt, I want you to go to baby step number 2, which is pay off all your debt using the debt snowball. And especially right now, Renita, I mean, the president and Congress has went ahead and not forgiven, but they've delayed student loan payments and they've cut off interest until the end of the year, December 31st. So let's say right now you only have student loans and you have income coming in right now. Go on ahead and start attacking that so you're not making any extra payments and you're not paying any extra interest at this present time. So take advantage of this season to pay off your debt. But let's just say you don't have any debt. Let's say you have a fully funded emergency fund. Now was a great time to go ahead and start investing. Start looking into a Roth IRA, investing into a growth stock mutual fund. Start looking and investing into a 401k and maxing out with those benefits. But if you're working from home, I'm going to simply say a Roth IRA, or talk to a smart investor, someone who can help you out with financial services and help you figure out how to start investing as an entrepreneur.
All right. Now, you mentioned college loan debt, and a lot of people have a lot of college loan debt. They might even call college loan debt a pandemic of its own.
Yeah.
Now, since people have been given this this delay in payments from federal loans, what should they consider before they consider whether or not to actually delay the payment? Is it contingent upon how much debt they have? Walk us through what people should think about.
So if I'm in their shoes, and let's say, for an example, I'm in debt and I'm starting this journey and I have student loans right now, federal student loans. The federal student loan interest rate is 4.5% right now. That's what the going rate is. If that's the only debt that I have, and let's say I still have a good income coming in, and let's say I have an average $58,000 per year, I am going to attack the debt. Okay. I'm not going to take the advantage of just letting the student loans just sit there, because what's happening is it's sitting there. Yes, it's not gaining any interest, but here's where the wealthy get wealthy. They take advantage of the seasons where they can win. And right now is a great season for you to win. You can pay back the principal without paying back any interest. And so the normal people, the average people, no, I don't want average people to do this. I want you to become pretty much a superb individual and take advantage of this season and attack all of your debt and take advantages of all these breaks that we're getting right now in America.
And on that note, is it a good time? We have a question from the audience, and is it a good investment to take out student loans during this uncertain time?
No, it's not a good investment to borrow any money right now. I don't care what anyone says. No, you're not taking out student loans. You're not taking out car loans. The only loan I am okay with, if you are properly and proudly prepared for this, is a mortgage. But we're going to do that on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. And so, but no, taking out student loans right now is not wise at all. Taking out credit cards is not wise at all right now. The best thing you can do for your money is think about your future. And your future is saying, please come into me debt free. So the best thing you can do right now is pay off all of your debt. Go ahead and get you a fully funded emergency fund. And some people I know are thinking, saying, well, Ayo, I have a credit card for an emergency. No. I want you to have cash. for your emergency. I want you to stay out of debt so you can start building margin in your life and you can build a solid foundation for your future.
A lot of people are also talking about shifting their careers during this time. I just talked to a friend who quit his job. And many people are looking to innovate, start their own businesses. What kind of financial advice do you give for those folks?
You know, one thing about entrepreneurship that I love, it brings freedom. Freedom brings power. And so I encourage anyone, if you know you are called to entrepreneurship, if you believe that you could be a great entrepreneur, then go for it. Right now, I'm going to say move slowly. Don't try and jump out there and borrow money to start your business. My mentor, Dave Ramsey, started very slowly. And today, look at him. You know, he has built a huge empire from borrowing $0. And so what I'm recommending to entrepreneurs is get on a budget, make sure that you have a budget for your life, and then make sure you have a budget for your business. Okay, that's number one. Number two, have a clear vision. Okay, this is where I want to be at by this time this year. This is where I want to be at by January of next year, and slowly go there. And then here's number three. Quit the comparison game and get around some other influential entrepreneurs who have done what you're trying to do. Okay. Ask them all the right questions. Ask them, you know, hey, what should I be doing? What should I not be doing? How should I take advantage of this season? Because studies have shown in previous pandemics and previous market crashes that a lot of millionaires were made during that time. But they were made during that time because they got around the wise people and they listened more than they talked. And so I would definitely recommend that during this season.
Got it. Okay. So a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Rapid fire. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. What is your biggest financial accomplishment so far?
I just sold my first home and bought my second home, which is a very nice home.
Congratulations. Very good. Okay, second one. You have a pretty interesting anecdote. This is not a quick rapid fire question. Pretty interesting anecdote about dating and budgeting.
Yes.
Please tell everybody about it.
Hey, man, my whole thing is this. When it comes to dating and budgeting, my whole philosophy is on your budget, you should have a line item for dating and you should not go over it. So brothers, if a young lady doesn't want to date you because you only have $100 set aside for budgeting that month, then that's on her, that's her loss. But I do believe that it is okay for a woman to pay for your meal every now and then, you know, and if it's within her budget. But I do believe that two people dating, you should have the same mindset. And the same mindset is this: we want to build wealth and we do want to have a budget and a vision for our money. So that's not a rapid fire question.
It's not, but you do have a story about this experience.
I do. You know,
Can you tell it to us in 1 minute?
I can tell it to you in 30 seconds.
Okay,
I was turned down. I was denied a second date because she asked me to go to a particular restaurant. That restaurant was over my budget for the month. I didn't tell her no. I just told her next month I can take you there. When I text her that back, she never responded. Then when she saw me on TV, something like this, she was like, yo, I didn't know you was this big. What about that second date? And I never responded to her. And that was probably a little childish on my end, but she played me and I was like, let me play you back a little bit. But I've matured and grown since then. Okay. And but that's my story when it comes to budget.
All right. I just needed the context. Everyone needed the context. So then from that, what was the biggest financial mistake you see people making in relationships?
The biggest financial mistake that I see people, especially young people, making in relationships is they try to hang with people with people and things they see on Instagram. And so if they see that this young lady has the latest Louis Vuitton purse, oh, they go get the Louis Vuitton purse. If they see they traveled here, they want to go do that. Rather than just focusing on yourself and on your goals and your visions and just running your race. I posted that this morning on my Instagram and I say, you know, it feels good when you don't have to worry about someone else's life and you just focus on your life. There's so much peace. There's so much joy. There's so much freedom in that. And so one of the biggest mistakes I see young people making when it comes to dating and budgeting is they try to live the life of Instagram, of social media, rather than just slowly growing a solid foundation for yourself and being grateful for the season that you're in right now.
Okay. And we're getting ready to wrap it up. And if you have the extra time, Do please give it. We have to talk about building generational wealth in the Black
Yeah.
community. Now, as we know, after a Minneapolis police officer killed George Floyd over this summer, it was a huge Black Lives Matter movement, a huge Buy Black movement. That's
Mhm.
one way to create wealth, generational wealth in Black communities. What are some other ways?
I love that. Just to be honest with you, I moved from Columbia, South Carolina, and I moved to the Black community. That was something that I was personally convicted by, that a lot of successful African Americans leave the community. And I said, I want to go back and give into my community. Another way we can help the Black community is bringing two things: financial education and emotional intelligence.
Hmm.
I think one of the main reasons why the Black community is struggling financially is because we are not really taught how to deal with our emotions correctly. And so if we see something, if we're bothered by something, we respond off of that and we go get that. And so for me, that's one thing I believe. If we can bring financial intelligence into our high schools and emotional intelligence into our high schools, that will help out the African American community. And then three, the last things when it comes to the African American community, when it comes to building wealth, we got to keep our dollars within the community. I'm always looking for small businesses that I can support within the community as much as possible. I'm not saying I'm going 100% into the African American community, but I believe in sharing it all. I work for a predominantly white business and great business. But if I could find a African American to wash my cars, if I could find an African American grocery store, I'm going to support as much as I possibly can. But here's the main thing when it comes to us. We got to stop blaming everyone else. There are some things that we need systems to change. We need some policies to change. But at the same time, we got to change our mindset and how we look at things. Okay. And I think for me, that's the main thing that I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing on the White House. I'm going to focus on my house. What can I do better to be a good steward over the resources that I have? And I know this is not a Christian organization, a Christian show, but as a man of faith, I believe that God can give me more money as long as I'm a good steward of what I have. So I'm focusing on what I'm doing. Then I'm focusing on how I'm bringing income back into my community.
All right. I think that's a great place to leave it. Anthony ONeal, thank you so much for joining us. And if any of you have any questions about personal finance, you can find Anthony on any of his Twitter or Facebook or Instagram handles at Anthony ONeal. Or you could also make sure to send us a comment right down below, because we'll be doing your money story more. So thanks a lot for joining us with Bloomberg Quick Take. I'm Renita Young. Everyone have a wonderful day.